Hello and welcome to Stackflow Tech. My name remains as Emmanuel Meli, and today we want to look at a different object in AL, which is reports. And remember, reports are just objects that they present data that is already in the database. So we will start with a report of these books. So we'll go to our source code, and then under the reports folder, which is not necessarily that you must place it in a folder, but for organizational purpose, we'll place it in a folder, create new AL object, and then right here, you can choose the report. Then report will ask you for the name. Let's call it books. And then for the source table, we give it a book. Source table means a record or a table that the report will use in getting the data. So click next so that you can have the fields. Let's sort by ID. Then we need to specify the fields that we will need to see them in the report. We might choose all the fields that we had created, then click finish. Right here we have a report, but there's a crucial part that is missing, a property in the report. You can see we already have a caption. It's not really necessary. If you delete this one, the name of that object will be used as a caption. And there's this part where you have the data sets, and then the data sets is a section where you will place all your tables that you want to have in this report. You can have as many tables as you want, so long as they have a little bit or much of the relationship within each other. So now we have one table right here that we selected. It's called the book. And then under that, we have different columns. Then I'm going to demonstrate how we can be able to see this data using a report. Under a report, you have a property known as the default layout. So you can have various layouts such as Excel, RDLC, and the Word. I want us to stick with the RDLC for now. And then after specifying the default layout, you need to also give the location of your layout, because the data will be printed to the RDLC layout or Word or Excel, whichever layout that you chose. So we'll go to this property known as the RDLC layout. And then we need to specify the location of our layout. So it should be a root or a relative location of that. And then we paste there. Then we need to mention that it is from the root. That's from the root. You need to give the name of that layout. And then the extension. We'll use the .rdl file. Then we terminate. So this is enough to give us the layout. Then from the layout, we will specify the fields that we specifically want to see. And we'll still look at various properties that we can still add in the report. So I will build. And for building, you can use Shift Control B. Then when it's done building, it means we can access it right inside there. So we can have the book.rdl right here, and then open externally so that we can edit. So Microsoft Report Builder is opening our layout. You can see it's blank. So what you do right here, you can just right click and then insert a table. Then from this table, this is where you specify the fields that you want to add. We'll want to see the book ID, and then book title, and maybe the ISNB, and then you can still right click on this column and add another one to the right, and then add this one as maybe genre. And then finally we need another column for the status of the book, the status. So this is enough to give us the list of all the books that are in that database, in that table, in that particular database. So let's try to expand this, since the title of the book might be a bit longer, and then the genre might be longer, then you can have that one. So there's a whole discussion of properties of the layout. You can have the ruler right here. You can still go to the report properties, and then you can change the dimensions to read in centimeters if you are not comfortable with inches. You can change the layout to landscape or portrait, but now let's maintain the portrait. You can change the size to whichever size you want, and even the width, you can customize the width depending on the type of report that you need. Again, you can do the margins. You can also have the code right here. There are references and variables. You can add them. Now, I want us to save so that we can publish and see if we can be able to see the changes. And again, under the data item right here, there is a property that is crucial called the requests filter fields, and then we will use the maybe genre, we'll use the status. These are the filters that we might want to see under our report. Maybe you want books that are maybe those books that have been booked, then you will apply that particular filter. For now, again, now that we have this object, we have not specified an action or anywhere that we want it to appear. So we'll go to our role center right here, library role center, and then under reporting, I'm going to have an maybe a group for maybe reports. And then in this group, we can have an action for books. This particular action will help us to have the books. Maybe books has already been mentioned in this role center, so we can try to make it special. Okay, it's not books report will be better, or alternatively, we can maintain our right there. That will work for us. So an action will always have an application area that is a must. And for our case, we will choose application seat. You can choose an image. And for this image, I'll choose a report. And then, most importantly, the run object will be report, in this case, our books. Yeah, right there. And then I think this is enough. We'll just publish and then see if that will be available. Remember, we discussed earlier about our role center, and we explained why we have these various areas under the actions, because remember this is under the actions. There is part of the layout. Now it has finished publishing. So we'll wait for it to be downloading so that it can, yes, right here you have reports. So you can just click there. You can see we have books. If you click it, it will open a request page. Yeah, this is called a request page, and you can see it has two fields here. We can use to filter, but let's not apply any field at the moment. Let's just we can choose to send it as an XML, as a Word, as an Excel, with data and layout, and or with data only. You can schedule this report to be sent at a particular time. And we are not going to do that now. Let's go back to our books, and then let's we don't have a printer, so we do not print. So let's preview and close. So right here after preview, we can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books in our database, and you can see the status of the books. I will demonstrate how we can use filters. I want us to see the lost books. Let's see how many books are lost. We'll go to the status field, and then we apply that filter for the lost. And then we'll preview and close. You can see we have only one book as preview, and as we previewed under the lost. Let's try another filter that has nothing. For instance, we don't have available books. So let's see if that will give us an error or yeah, it gives us an error that it couldn't be generated because it was empty. So it is asking us to adjust the filters and maybe try again. So let's adjust the filter and try to use and let's say the booked books. You can add even another filter, maybe borrowed. You can still add another one. So let's see, there are only 4 books which have been booked. So that is about the filters, and this is where the filters are placed. You place the filters at the top of the columns, just below the data item that you are trying to render the data from. Now, we will go to another property for the reports, which is in the design in the this document. Remember, you can also bold. You can bold the headings of the columns. You can italicize some if you want to. You can underline. You can use all these, even including the the alignment of the text. And inside your report, you can have colors. You can even have conditional coloring, where you might want to color a record, maybe for the books that are lost, you want to color them as red under your report. But those are the things we'll discuss in the future. But for now, let's stop it there. Please, if you like the video, please support this channel by subscribing, liking, and even having a comment that will help us improve in our content.